everyone, welcome to Connection Yoga. I just want to say real quick, yoga is for everyone. However, when online, it is up to the individual to assess whether they are ready or not to participate in the class that they have chosen. If you suffer from specific disease, illness, or injury, or are pregnant, it is important for you to consult with your physician before beginning. The practice of yoga requires that you, the practitioner, need to gauge the safety of your practice within your own personal and physical limitations. I'm not there, I'm not in your body, so I can't. You need to pay attention and act accordingly. It is always better for you to build up slowly rather than force or strain. While you might feel exertion throughout the practice, you should also feel relaxed. While you might feel some discomfort, you should never feel pain. The techniques and suggestions presented in the following content are not intended to substitute for proper medical care. Consult your physician before beginning any new exercise program. Connection Yoga assumes no responsibility for injuries suffered while participating in the yoga content. The user assumes all risks. With that, I can't wait to see you on the mat, and I'll see you there. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Connection Yoga. We've got Roscoe here and myself, Kat, to break it down again. We are today covering some animalistic poses. You might know them as cat and cow. They are staples to my personal practice, and I hope after today you will see why they should be part of yours and how you can move your spine safely through these two poses. So that is what we're going to do using True North alignment. So this is how I look at the body, how I think when I aim to position a body in a yoga pose. So that breaks the body down into 5 sections, which we will go through for each poses. First, starting with cow pose. So I grew up where there are a lot of cows, and this doesn't exactly evoke cow in me, but maybe it will in you. So your feet are flat on the mat, up through your shins, with your knees under your hips and your wrist under your shoulders, of course. So when you drop into cow, your sit bones turn up, so your pelvis, we are in the pelvis hip region, your sit bones turn up and your tailbone points up as well. So the bottom half of our body is pretty straightforward. Our belly, though, it is pretty important, and then the chest, of course. So we'll start with the belly. It lowers, but it's still engaged. We don't want to just drop, because then we're just crunching our low back. So we need to lower our belly with an engagement in it to protect the low back, all right? So don't worry about the huge crunch here, okay? It's not about that. It's about lowering the belly, lengthening the spine, okay? And that really is shown when we get to the upper body region. So we've got our chest through our hands. Our chest is lifting as we lower, with our collarbones spreading to the front. Your shoulder blades are coming together and down your back. Sort of like how we do in a lot of poses, but it's that same drawn together down the back to stabilize the upper body but open the chest. So doing all that with your fingers spread and pressing into the mat. And that will help really deepen the amount of energy you can get into your body when you drop down, okay? So that leaves us with the final section, which is our head or neck.
Your gaze is forward. I don't suggest looking up, especially if you have a neck injury. I suggest that you look at the floor the whole time. So your cow, you're gonna lower, keep your gaze down. Everything else is the same. Instead of dropping and opening your neck slightly, okay? Regarding other injuries, if you have wrist or knee issues, there are 2 variations that I will show at the end that you should do instead. Don't want to exasperate injuries while we want to strengthen parts of our body that have been damaged. For safety, I would suggest you do either the seated or standing variations that I will show you at the end. So first, let's break down cat. All right? And of course, as always, try the poses with me as I go through. See what it feels like, what I'm saying, explore it in your body, okay? So, moving into cat, which, one of my favorite poses, of course, not because I am named Cat, but because seriously, how it feels awakening up the upper part of the spine, it's amazing. So, your feet through your legs are the same as in cow, hips over the knees, but instead, with our hips and pelvis, our tailbone is pointing down and our hips are rotating under, okay? So, your belly is pulling in as you rotate your hips under. So your belly is definitely still engaged, but at the same time, your side waist body, so this is your waist, if you didn't know, and here is your waist side body. So when you are lifting up, you lift through that side body. It's your belly tucking under, engaging up, and your ribs also lifting. It's not just our hands and our chest and our shoulders pushing to get that rounding sensation, which you do. So your hands pressing with your fingers spread, shoulder blades rounding out around the body. The upper back is open. So you do push up and open on your own, but lifting that waist, lifting that belly, takes it to a whole new level of flexion. And these two are counter poses, if you didn't connect that. So I suggest always doing them together, because when you go into cow, your spine is in flexion and it needs to be counterbalanced with extension that comes from the cat. So always looking to take care of the spine. Again, in this pose with the neck, in cat, keep it neutral with the spine. And if you have an injury, keep the gaze down, okay? So now that you know those two poses, we're gonna really make it come alive. And you do that with the breath. So, funny thing, traditionally there is a breathing pattern. So the direction of the inhale and the exhale with the cat and cow that is traditionally proposed. I will tell you about them. However, some people naturally breathe in different directions, and I don't want to take that away from you. That is totally fine. I don't want to throw you off your practice. I'm just going to explain this traditional suggestion and how the theory is to energize the body with the breath. So, traditionally, it is suggested that you inhale with the cow. So, inhale as you drop down, exhale as you round out. And this is because when you inhale with cow, you're opening the front body to the ribs to really fill up and expand that chest opener that you're trying to do, okay? But when you're exhaling, you've got the least amount of air in your lungs in this area here, so it allows you to hunch over more and really press into that back body. That's the suggestion. I personally do it and I think it feels great, and I'll do it for you now. But some people, You know, they exhale with the cow and inhale with the cat. That's cool. But this is how I suggest to do it. So, breathe in as you drop, press, exhale, and press. So, I hope you tried that and you really felt how that breath can really bring that pose alive, because it brings the practice alive in general. And it allows you to set a pace and all of this stuff. So, breathing is important. I'm hoping to do a whole little video about breathing in the future. But for now, we will stick with these two poses, and I'd like to get into the modifications. If you were feeling really bad tightness in your wrist or really weak, or they're injured, or your knees, you can do two variations of it. So the first one is standing. Sorry, you can't really see my head, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna have a slight bend in your knees, legs at hip width apart, so that's about 2 fists. You could fit them right there in between your feet. You're gonna slight bend in your knees, hands on your thighs, all right? And you're gonna do the exact same thing. Open and lower, round and back. And you can still wake up the spine without putting strain on some of our more sensitive joints, like our knees, wrist. So there's that one. Then there's two seated ones. So you could sit in a chair and do this. I remember when I was in grad school, this was a regular thing for me. You sit in your chair and you do the same thing. Hands on your knees, and you do it both directions. Open the chest around the spine. Press back. Okay? Final modification for you. On your mat, seated. Sit cross-legged. Any cross leg that you like. Palms on your knees again. Do it both directions. Okay, so I hope that you can at least do the modifications and start working your way up to being able to do it on your hands and knees, because it seriously is the best warm-up for your yoga practice. You are gently massaging the spine as you move back and forth, but it also increases circulation of spinal fluid and general mobility of the body. It stretches the back, our neck, and we're strengthening our wrists and hands, which I know when I first started my yoga practice, I really felt it there. You might feel it there too. So, taking this all together, I hope you found your inner animal, and I suggest if you get to a yoga class early, go ahead and do some of these. Do as many or as few as you like, and you can do them wherever, whenever. Take care of your spine. So, if you have any questions or comments about things that I said today, go ahead and put them below and I'll try and get back to you. Otherwise, give me a like and a subscribe, and I can't wait to see you next time on the mat, everybody. See you then, and peace.